Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't been doing a ton of coffee reviews lately because, well, it's hot out and I've basically been intending to do some reviews when I drink hot coffee, and I've been making cold brew coffee. So, first of all, you guys see what's on the table there. I got some Madcap for your review today. And first of all, I'm using my Osaka pour over gooseneck pot to soak my filters. Always pre-soak your filters. In winter months, always preheat your mug for the best experience. So, Madcap, it sucks that I haven't been consuming tons and tons of Madcap anymore because, well, where I get it now at Loyal Coffee in the Springs, they typically don't always have it in stock. So, because I used to show up there regularly to purchase it, and I was really upset that it was out of stock and stuff. So I just stopped showing up because it was that annoying. But anyway, so Madcap, I recently saw their newest offering of this Nano Challa from Ethiopia, and Madcap is pretty freaking amazing. I believe all their coffees are heirloom varieties, which means it's going to be a smaller coffee bean, and usually those ones can have more complexity because the heirloom varieties have been selected from years and years and years of creating coffee. And the thing is, like, the types of coffees like Colombian and other stuff from I don't know, I'd say Indonesia. Some of that stuff, they have huge farms and faster turnover rates, and they go to, larger companies like Starbucks, because they have higher demand, basically. So it'd be a lot harder for Starbucks to use heirloom varieties, although I wouldn't be surprised if they did it sometimes. So I'm going to wet the grounds, make sure we get our blooming action going on to check on that. And we got a lot of nice bubbles. It's only about 2 ounces, I could go more. Pretty good bloom, of course. Not even mad. I think that it brews better the slower you pour it. If you go someplace to get a coffee pour over, they might pour it a little bit faster than I would, just because they're typically in a rush, they got more people to serve. But when you're at home, you can make the best coffee. And it's still a thing. I probably mentioned this in another video, that it's just so incredibly hard for me to get out there and get coffee anywhere else anymore, because I like really strong coffee, and pretty much nobody brews the type of strength of coffee that I like. I did find that I can cut back the strength of it recently and still enjoy it. Anyways, the one thing that tasting Madcap a lot of people will notice is they have such amazing caramel notes from pretty much all their coffees. And I'm sure it's a combination of the fermenting process when they process the beans, and also the way they roast. I'd love to know more about that, but as far as I know, I think it's probably more related to, well, of course it's going to be the roast, but I think it's also more related to the fermenting process. I think it can bring out way more flavors, and it's instead of like washing the coffee cherries and removing the outer skins that way to reveal the beans, then they let them sit around. They throw them on, some stuff, and they just let them ferment and let all that stuff fall off of them, and you get richer flavors and more natural notes from inside of the coffee come out that way. So, some of the other things that I've been doing lately is, you've heard of creamer for your coffee? Well, I've actually been doing blackener and adding coconut charcoal, activated charcoal, to my coffees occasionally, and I like it. Extra black coffee, what's not to love, So, there's a lot of health benefits for activated charcoal. Good for, some would say, life extension properties. And as always, I've got my trace mineral drops. Makes it all so much tastier as well. You need trace minerals, trust me. You really do. Alright, so let's see. That looks nice and strong. Nice thick black. A lot of the cupping, when people have their tasting and cupping, they always slurp like tons. They do slow slurps so you can really hear it. And that's to really coat your mouth better and your tongue to taste more of those flavor notes that are in the coffee. And so tasting this without any of my mineral drops or anything else in there, right now, it's definitely that thick caramel. I've got a little bit of aftertaste in my mouth from some of the food and after meal fennel that I had. So they say that if you just sniff coffee in between eating different foods, it'll like help cleanse your palate, and then you can have more full tastes of what you're actually eating. And yeah, I wish you guys could just smell this right here, man. It's just, wow. And that's another thing. When you look at these types of roasts, man, they're usually like so light. Like you see that nice big chunk of white lightness in the middle. As far as Madcap goes, I think this is a bit on the darker side than what I'm used to from them, because Ethiopia is typically known for how bold their coffees can be, and that's one of the reasons why I really, really like it. But this was definitely probably the smoothest Ethiopian coffee I've ever had. And yeah, I can totally see that floral notes and stuff. That's what it suggests on the side, is like a hibiscus floral. And I don't know about if it's hibiscus status, but I can taste that floral. And I would say it's a bit citrusy compared to a lot of the other Ethiopians that I've had. So it says hibiscus, it says gentle experience reminiscent of hibiscus iced tea and wildflower honey. Okay, I can really see that. I mean, with the wildflower honey, I could also say like super caramelized. So this is kind of unfortunate, because I would say this is actually not my overall favorite Madcap coffee. I mean, usually I know what I like just by looking at the label, but this was such a new experience. I never would have expected this smooth, mild taste and smooth coffee from, first of all, Madcap, second of all, Ethiopian. I mean, sure, smooth, mild could definitely be said about Central and South American coffees from Madcap, but I'm not used to that otherwise. I'm going to add some of my drops now. Remember, these guys were on Shark Tank talking about how coffee places spend so much on their water systems and add minerals back in. Oh, yeah? This is really hot. Yeah. My son likes black coffee. I think it's because he's used to picking up like a coffee bean or two off the floor if I randomly drop one or something. Because he's tried coffee with like my cold brew and only liked it if it was just straight black. So that's kind of funny. Smart kid. Black coffee is the best. It really does. It brings... Sorry, I was in the middle of talking about these Shark Tank guys. There are these guys on Shark Tank that were pitching a deal trying to sell trace minerals specifically for coffee alone. It's like there's a million other uses for trace minerals. You don't have to just use it for your coffee, even though it's a great idea for your coffee. It's hot. Alright guys, well, hopefully I'll be back with more videos. I've been meaning to shoot a video about how I make cold brew. Yeah, and I think everybody would like that, don't you, buddy? Alright. So yeah, in the final say, it's not my favorite Madcap coffee, and that's extremely sad for me to say.